As you see, this takes just a minute, but we're just screwing that nut right on through the already assembled portion. And now I just want to check and make sure that my faucet fountain is installed exactly where I want it before I finish tightening that nut. So now that we have the faucet fountain installed, the next thing we need to do is to connect this red line to our cold water tap. So I've turned off the cold water. Honey, if you'll just show that there's no water. There we go. Turned off the water. And now I'm trying to determine which of these fittings will be the one that will fit in our faucet. I think the easiest way to do that is I'm just going to take my trusty little monkey wrench here and size it to the piece that's in there. And then I'm going to find which one of these fits that. And it's this one, which is what I sort of thought. So you're going to use the enclosed plumber's sealing tape and wrap around this plastic fitting 3 to 4 times, just to be sure that you have a good seal. And that's going to screw right into here, just as tightly as you can. You've removed your flexible cold water hose. Of course, you'll want to turn off your cold water valve before you do that. I put a bowl under mine to collect these few little drips that were remaining in the hose. You're going to take that connection that you created earlier, and you're going to place that between your flexible cold water hose and your cold water valve. You'll want to use a wrench just to make sure that you have everything good and tight. We don't want any water leaks under here. It appears my connections are tight. Okay. Now, when it comes to these lines, you can cut them. And in fact, the instructions recommend that you cut them. They also recommend, however, that you leave enough of these lines so that you can remove your entire filter system from under the counter to replace the filter with ease. So I am going to cut this one simply because it's not going to be connected to the filter at all. It's going to be connected to the tap. So I'm just going to use a pair of kitchen shears. And I'm going to trim this down some because this is a long piece of plastic and it's in the way. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is feed it into this white connector that I added onto there. I'm going to feed it in there. It's a compression connection, so it's going to compress that tubing to provide stability. And then the kit came with a blue clip, which I am going to go ahead and apply on there. Just a small blue clip, and I'm just going to stick it right up in there, just like that. At that point, I've got the cold water faucet on. So now I'm going to get the actual Zuvo filter and install that, which is the easiest part of the whole thing. Now, if you have a large space under your sink and you want to mount it on the wall, it does come with a wall mounting bracket. You'll simply apply your screws here, and then you'll be able to slide that in. Okay, so now that we have our red tubing installed, and I've trimmed it and put the clip on there, now it's time to install the actual water filter. This is so easy. Here we have, everything's color coded. We have blue tubing and we have white tubing. You're going to match them up. And I'm not trimming these because, again, Zuvo recommends that you leave enough space with your tubings, that you can remove your unit from under your cabinet completely. Without having to disconnect your plumbing. Okay, so as you see, I've just placed those tubes back into the compression devices. And see, once I've put them in there, they're not coming out. This clip is just an extra little layer of protection for you. If you ever do need to get them out, Zuvo does provide you with a tool. I'll show you how to use that. If you take the clip off, and you do need to get this tubing out for any reason, Zuvo gives you this little multi-use tool. You also use this when you change your filter, when you change your UV light. But it has a little groove here, and you'll place that groove up against that compression fitting, and you'll push it in, and then you'll be able to slide your tubing right out just like that. But it's only going to happen with the tool. Okay, so now I have that installed. And now all I'm going to do is just sort of wrap these tubings a little bit up this way. Place my water filter here. And I probably could trim these some, but they're not going to be in my way, so I'm going to let it alone. You do need to have power outlet for your filter. I happen to have one right here under my sink. Okay, and that beep is a good thing. That beep tells me that my filter is plugged in. And so the next thing you need to do is actually let the filter run for 2 minutes. We need to run the water in order to get the filter activated and ready to go. So I'm going to turn on. Well, now I guess it would have helped if I turned the water back on first. So I'm going to turn my water on. See, it's so easy you can forget things. Okay, so my cold water is turned back on. I see no leakage. I have water there. And now I'm going to turn my filter on. Now, that's going to run for 2 minutes. Now, first it has to fill up. You can see that it's filling here. I'm going to remove this film so we can see a little better. That light you see there, that's your UV light. Now, do you see the swirls and the bubbles? That's your indication that your filter is working properly. So we're going to let that fill up. And we're going to let it run for 2 minutes to get the water thoroughly filtered. And then we're going to give it a taste and see if it tastes any better at all than the filter water. And now we have water coming out of our faucet tap. And I don't have any leakage under here. Put a bowl under here so I can check. Hand me that flashlight there. A little flashlight over there. I just want to check and make sure I have no leakage. I do have a small leak there. So I'll need to tighten that connection. It's as simple as can be. Alright, so as you see, that's the complete installation of a Zuvo water filter. And now for the part that really matters, let's taste it.
Is it on?
Nice glass of water. The best drink for you. Oh, that's good. That is really good water. So everybody, you need a Zuvo filter. And if you visit Zuvo.com, they'll show you they have both the under the counter mount like I've done here, and also a counter mount where you simply attach it to your faucet.
Can I have a
Go visit, give it a try. You'll like it. Hi, Weasel.
Is it?